Hi there, Bill Anderson here. Welcome back to another From Around Mika's live stream. And I'm joined initially by Daniela. How are you doing, Daniela?
Hi, good evening. I'm fine, thank you. I hope you too.
Yeah, doing good. I'm glad the temperatures have dropped a bit.
Yes, me too. Everyone, I think.
Yeah. And you have a guest this evening.
Yes,
Would you
I have
like
a
to introduce her?
I have a guest. I think everyone in the community must have read her name at some point on social media because I think after you, Bill, she's the most tech person on Facebook. This is Kay Millington. She's originally from Leeds, UK. She has lived here for 10 years on the Costa del Sol, and she became the local wildlife hero. So everyone, you must have come across her name, because if it's an injured frog, flamingo, we just had Freddy Flamingo, a seagull, the wild boars. Anytime
Yeah.
there's an issue with a wild animal, the person going to be tagged is Kay, and I'm so happy that you're with us tonight.
Oh,
That
thank you for having me.
let's hope we get this half an hour done. That you don't get a
hopefully no
emergency call out.
Yeah, and we had a lovely radio show together, Kay, a few weeks back as
Yeah,
well.
we
And you
did.
were talking to us,
Thank you,
well,
yeah.
you were talking to us about one part of your work, and I think Daniela's going to talk to you a little bit about other parts of
Yeah.
your work and commitment. So I tell you what, I'm going to kind of back out here and let the two of you start talking, and I'll just keep an eye on things from the background, okay?
Okay, thank you very
Alright.
much.
So okay, I think we have quite a few viewers tonight because you have you're well known in our community, and
Oh,
you have many fans,
yeah.
and I think
Hi, everyone. Thanks for
I think
watching.
so many people appreciate what you do for the community, for the animals, and you also help, of course, cats and dogs, and that's I think how you originally started. But you are, you have a lot of knowledge about our local wildlife here. So it's like I think today even you were tagged, or even I tagged you, because someone in Calahonda found a 1.80 meter snake and
Yeah,
was freaking out. So people,
yeah,
if they have a snake sighting, they tag you, and you
yeah,
look at it, and you know exactly if it's poisonous or not.
yeah,
And but how did it all start? You came here 10 years ago, and then you
yeah,
started your Rescued Paws Spain in
yeah.
2015.
hmm
How did it? Why did you do that?
Well, I mean, it all dates back to a long time before I was here. That's where I learned all my knowledge about animals in general. But obviously, when I came here, the one side of it, which we've already spoke about in another show with the cats and dogs, but there's not many people. There is a few people in the area that know a lot about wildlife, but there's no one to go to straight away for advice. And obviously, everyone seems to know me now, which is great. And I really don't mind anyone coming to me to ask me for advice at anything that they find. Even if I don't know so much about it, if it's an animal that I don't know so much about, I will be able to advise.
Find out. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm grateful that people do ask rather than just not help them, because there's not a lot of people out here that know what to do. So I'm always willing to help. Anyone can message me on Rescue Paws Spain on Facebook, and I can give you advice. If I'm close by, I'll always come and help.
Yeah, so like the latest exotic animal, let's say, Freddy. Tell us about Freddy.
So my friend, who actually I met through another rescuing a cat some time ago, she was power walking on the beach with her husband, and she gave me a call, and she said, "I've found one of them birds, them pink ones with the long legs." And I'm thinking, okay, but she said, but it's not pink, but it's grey, but so it must not be a flamingo. So I'm thinking, well, I know flamingos don't change the colour of the crop until they're between 3 and 5 years old. So obviously I knew it was a baby and it would need help, because if it's not with its mother, it would usually still be with the mother. So I rushed down there, and there was quite a crowd around, everyone looking. And I think, well, not many people have seen a flamingo. So when I said it was a flamingo, this guy came up to me and he was like, that's not a flamingo, it's pink. It's got
pink.
Yeah. So I was like, no, it is, it's a baby. So I called my vet, and they've never had a flamingo in before, so they was quite excited about it. They'd closed already, but they actually all came out to meet me at the surgery. And we quickly spoke to our other friend who's a bird vet to ask what we needed to get, what we needed to feed, how we do it and everything, because it's not something that you find every day.
No.
But we knew that it needed help, because it was you could tell it was poorly. So we kept it in the vets over 2 days, and then we spoke to the bird vet who was in touch with Creia in Malaga, and they actually came to collect Freddie the flamingo two days later, and he will be rehabilitated, and then hopefully he will go to a sanctuary, or he'll be released in a place where they have the flamingos. So that was a very, very happy ending, but it could not have been, maybe not if I had not have been there, because it might have gone into the ocean and something happened and not survived. So I was so glad that my friend called me to ask. And obviously that's one ticked off the list of an exotic animal that I've never rescued before.
Yeah, there he is.
There we go. Freddie the flamingo. He's about 8 months old, we were told. Very, very sweet, but he was very poorly in this photo.
Yeah.
But he soon
perked up.
He soon perked up after his sardines.
Yeah. So, but you are crazy. You would consider a €500 speeding fine to save a mouse. People can that contact you at nighttime. I've seen photos of you. You go out at night with an emergency in your PJs with a head torch on.
My headlight.
You climb on trees. You fall off trees. You do things I don't know any person like you or anyone that would do, especially for wildlife or for animals. Some would go, oh, it's just a hedgehog. Just leave it there by the road. You would pick up any animal, you would help any animal. Yeah, and your partner, thank God, he's not on Facebook.
Thank God.
But that's because, but he knows what you're doing, but he doesn't know. But you smuggle animals home and try to hide them from him, or you sneak out of the beds to rescue a kitten in the tree at 3 a.m. in the morning. I do. It's just some stories are hilarious, but obviously there's some very sad stories you come across as well. So how do you cope with that?
Well, I suppose like you learn to cope with these things because you have to realize that you can only do what you can do. You know, if I can go rescue an animal, I will do it. But if it doesn't survive or I don't get there on time, the way that I've come to terms with it is you can really only do as much as you can. And I really put everything into what I do with animals. And I've started to learn that I have to accept that it's not always going to be a happy ending, but I will always try my best to rescue any animal that I can. I'll always help.
So maybe Bill, if we could have a look at the photo selection, and then you could tell us for each photo, what's the story behind it, maybe?
Okay, okay.
Let's see. It should be right there. There we go.
Yeah, so I was called out in the middle of the night. Some dogs actually was missing from Calahonda. And it was an older gentleman that had lost them. He was absolutely distraught. And I just decided to go out looking for them. And somehow, I'm not sure, some miracle that I actually found them like within about half an hour of just driving around. So he was reunited with his dogs. He was very happy, but it was the middle of the night, so not a lot of people's going to go out there and do that. But to see the smile on his face when he was reunited, you know, an elderly fella, very, very happy and grateful. It was just a pure accident. They'd escaped. Mm-hmm. So that was what this photo was from.
Yeah, we've got another. We've got a question coming in here. What should we do if we find an injured animal? Bearing in mind, not everybody lives in sort of Mijas Marbella area. What should people do if they find an injured animal, Kay?
Well, first of all, depending on what you find, and maybe you can always try and contact me if possible. Okay, but if you can't do that, Also, if you can, for example, if you find a bird or a hedgehog, most of the things that you probably find if it was a wild animal, okay? And the best thing to do would be, if you think that its life's been threatened, first of all, then take it home and put it in a box if possible. I know not everyone wants to do that, but if they can, if it's a bird or if it's a hedgehog or something like that. But one thing I would say is you really need to think, does this animal need saving? Because the problem that we get a lot is a lot of people take birds home that actually don't need saving. They're just learning to fly with the parents, and then they can actually fly after a few days. So that's important to know, that do they actually need rescuing. If the animal is a protected species, which you'll be able to check on the internet, you can also ring CREA in Malaga, which you can find very easily, the number for that. And we will
share it as well.
Okay, so CREA Malaga, they rescue animals that are protected by law. So obviously, even if it's not protected by law, you could still call them and ask the advice on what to do. And obviously, there's people locally that might be able to help. Like, for example, if you call my friend who's the seagull healer, they don't rescue seagulls with CREA, but we would be able to help you if you found an animal that's not protected. So again, if you do speak to CREA in Malaga, they will point you in the right direction if we can't help you.
And what about Soprona?
Right, Soprona, I tend to, you can ring Soprona, but Soprona tend to call CREA if it's a protected wild animal.
So just to explain for the people who don't know, Soprona is the from the Guardia Civil, the animal department, let's say, correct?
Yeah. So, for example, if you found an animal that had been injured that was a wild animal, for example, a kestrel or something like that, or a bird of prey, you could ring Soprona, and then Soprona would actually contact CREA anyway. So the way I look at it is I just contact CREA directly and ask their advice. Unfortunately, they don't speak English, so you'd have to get a friend or someone, you know, if one of the expats found it and they couldn't speak Spanish, then they could ring CREA and ask, and they will point you in the right direction what to do. But if you feel that the animal is in danger and you would need to do something, then a lot of the time it is common sense. If you find a bird that you think is very injured, if you take it home, put it in a box, don't ever close the box without holes. You can just put a towel over the top so air can get in, and then seek advice after that, because they can die of shock. So you have to be very careful. The same with hedgehogs and things like that. You have to be very careful not to frighten the animal. But someone will be able to help you, whether it's CREA, you can message me for help. There is people out there that can help.
Yeah, and it really works. So you remember we spoke about it last week, that lady that found the hedgehog in Riviera. Yeah. That was at night. So I gave her the CREA details as well. So she rang them in the morning and they picked up the little hedgehog within a few hours.
Yeah,
so
it's amazing. It quick response. Yeah, it does work. Yeah.
So what do we have here on the picture?
Right, so these were 4 abandoned kittens that someone called me in Malaga I went and collected them because they're in quite a bad state. And I took them directly to the vet, and they let me get involved always with everything. I have a lot of experience with animals for 20 years now, so they don't mind me getting in there and doing the hands-on things. We're getting them clean and cleaning their eyes and making sure that they were well. So this was very satisfying for me, because when you get an animal that's quite poorly and quite dirty, a lot of them have got parasites and things like that. First thing we do is we get them to the vet, and they're always amazing and see us straight away. And we just all get in there and get cleaning and making sure that they're okay, and sometimes feeding them if they need to be, vitamins with the syringe and things like that. So that's what I'm doing in this photo.
Mm-hmm.
This is a controversial one. Okay.
Yeah, we hope we don't get a shitstorm for that.
No. So basically, these wild boar, they do they hang around the area mainly where there's a lot of cats. I do sometimes put water down for them, but actually in this photo I was with my brother who was on holiday from England, and he initially thought that they were quite frightening animals, and we had this discussion, and he said, oh, I don't know if I'd want to go and have a look at them because they might hurt me or something like that.
They might be dangerous. What people think. A lot of people, whenever they come across wild boars here, they always put on Facebook, they're dangerous, and they're invading our urbanizations and that.
Exactly. I mean, this actually is in quite a campo area where it is there. They're just foraging on their own because obviously they can forage on their own. They do struggle to find food and water, but in this area there was quite a lot of acorns, and there's actually a stream close by to there. So they were quite happily helping themselves, you know, scurrying around the floor, finding things. And I was just sat there, you know, with my brother taking photos because he was in England. You know, you don't really see anything like that. So he was very, very excited, and he couldn't believe how close we were and how peaceful they were. They're such peaceful animals. You know, they won't bother you. The parents were there, and they didn't feel threatened by me. So obviously there was no problem there. I wouldn't tell people to go up to them like
exactly.
this.
Well, I just want to say, don't do people that don't have experience shouldn't do this. Yeah.
I mean, I've been brought up, you know, with wild animals, so for me, I'm not frightened, and they don't frighten me, or they don't sense the fear. But obviously, I wouldn't recommend it. But this is a perfect photo to show people what peaceful animals they are. They just want to live in peace, and they just want to find food and water. They don't want to hurt anyone. Oh, this is a baby swallow that fell out of the nest in my garage, actually. Now, a lot of people think that if you touch birds that the parents won't accept them. That's actually not true. A lot of birds don't have a sense of smell. So this little one was on the garage floor, and the guys from the community called me and asked me if I could come and help. So of course I would. I went there. I didn't have a ladder at the time, so I think I had to stand on my boyfriend's car.
I think we have the photo as well.
Yeah. Oh dear. Yeah. Hopefully. Oh, yeah. This is another one there. Yeah.
What's in there?
This actually is a kitten in Calahonda that was stuck in a car engine.
By Calahonda Beach. Yeah.
Yeah, this was in a car engine, actually. There were 2 kittens stuck in a car engine for 2 days. In the end, I actually did a stakeout inside the car, which was very hot for me. We couldn't get it to go in a trap, so I just sat on the seat like a frozen statue. And actually, when the kitten came out, I managed to grab both of them and put them in the bag. So I was very pleased with myself in that photo.
I think that was that a lady who then didn't who agreed then not to move the car for until
for 2 days. Yes, she did. Bless her. This is one of the hedgehogs. This is actually a North African hedgehog. It was actually on Facebook. Someone had advertised it as a pet, which they actually are exotic pets, but she was unsure how to take care of it. So we took this hedgehog on with our rescue, with Rescued Paws Spain, and actually found it a really lovely home afterwards. Someone that was experienced, because they can't be outside these kind of ones, and they need a heat lamp and they need a special food and everything like that. So this was one of them that we actually rescued 2 of them. So this is one of them. Absolutely beautiful little thing.
Very cute face.
Yeah. This is quite a regular occurrence, actually. We have some fields behind my house, and on a Sunday, not putting the blame on anyone, but the quad bikers, someone leaves the gate open every week, and the horses actually know where to come now. So they actually come to find me, and they stand outside my apartment block, which is quite shocking for everyone else.
And so when your partner is wondering why there's a horse outside your house, you say, I have no idea why.
I have no idea. There were actually 5 standing outside the gate, and somehow they managed to get into the building site next to where the building where I live, and they actually got stuck inside. So I had to go inside to get them out, which was quite a drama, actually. But they were fine. The owner came. I've obviously got him on speed dial. But I just wish people would actually close the gates of fields, because it's actually really dangerous. This could have been a really dangerous situation. There's lots of cars around, you know. It was on a corner, on a bend. But luckily I always have everything in the car, so I had all my horse head collars and everything, so I managed to get all 5 of them and got them into safety for the owner to come and collect them, so that was good.
Let's see the next one.
Okay, this is someone actually, I saw on Facebook there was a cockatiel someone had found it in their garden. Well, obviously, with the colours and everything like that, they don't last very long outside, and they're not used to foraging for food on their own. It's actually like not a native bird. So of course I went to collect it, and unfortunately it didn't have a ring or anything on it. So we advertised it that we've been found, but it actually went to a really lovely home in an aviary afterwards. So people, they don't always tag their birds, and it's quite difficult to identify the owner. So, but this one went to a really lovely home with another cockatiel.
Sweet. Is that Stephen?
That's Stephen. That's actually Stephen the second. Steve, I like to call most of my seagulls Stephen. But this one's Stephen the second. Stephen the first actually broke his wing, but this Stephen the second, he was just very poorly from being intoxicated, which basically they eat things from the sea, from the polluted sea, and they can get quite ill from it, and they will die in the end. So quite a lot of people call me about seagulls. I've learned a lot about seagulls from my friend, the seagull healer, Monica. She's in Estepona. So she basically guides me through what to do. And but Stephen Seagull went in my little seagull hospital until she could take him over. And that one made a full recovery.
Great.
Hey, so this is another controversial one for some people. This is a Kartora argentino. It's a non-native bird to Spain. I like to say non-native rather than invasive. I don't really like that word because obviously these ones that are here were born here and they live here. Whether you like them or not, they're actually lovely birds, very kind, sweet birds, very intelligent animals. But a lot of people complain about them because of the noise. There's also a lot of false allegations about them, which I would like to clear up. They say that they eat the food of our native bird, which is not true. They're actually grass and grass seed eaters. So our native birds, like i.e. the sparrows, etc., they actually eat insects. So that's also not true. They're very peaceful animals, and they've actually been known to share their nests with other birds, very gentle with other animals. They're not aggressive with other birds. It's just a myth, really. So that is definitely not true, and that comes from a very good source of mine who I've got a friend in America. So she actually works with these birds, and she's studied them for over 25 years. And she writes documents actually for governments all over the world about Kartora argentinos. So it's from a very good source. They are amazing animals, and all they want to do is live peacefully. And unfortunately, there's a lot of people that complain about them because of the noise. But apart from the noise, I mean, I actually quite like the noise.
I like it. It feels like tropical, or
yeah. They're actually lovely, lovely animals. And I had an experience actually meeting them in their own country when I went to Argentina last year and Uruguay, which was amazing to see them in their own environment. But I think that they've adapted amazingly well here in Spain, obviously, because it's a little bit tropical on the Costa del Sol. But this one was rescued and unfortunately couldn't fly very well. So now he's living in an aviary with other birds, but absolutely lovely, lovely bird. This is called Mr. Green. Not very original, I suppose, but very lovely bird. Okay, so this was one of the, I'm just nipping to the bin. I said I was going to the bin, but actually a neighbour rang me to say they could see a rabbit running around the street. So I told my partner that I was just going to take the rubbish down. And he said, don't you need rubbish to take to the bin to go to the bin? So I was like,
no, I wanted to throw this carrot.
Yeah, I'll just throw this carrot in the bin. So I went downstairs, and it was quite easy actually. Another neighbour helped me, and I took this rabbit. And there's a really, really nice story to this rabbit. He's called Pip, and he actually got a home in England, and he was transported to England, and he went to a really lovely home in England.
There's a comment from Vicky Anderson, a girl to my own heart. I'm loving it.
Oh, thank you, Vicky.
Let's see what we have next.
Okay, so this is one of my cat houses. And you, Daniela, thank you very much, because you actually provide me with all the bedding that goes. Every couple of months, you donate all the lovely beds to go inside. So yes. This is a remake of our cat house. We had a few visitors. Some little piggies were going inside and eating all the cat food. So we reinforced it and put some little cat flaps on the door. And this is me very proud of myself afterwards, looking how cozy it is inside.
So you try it for the animals as well.
Yeah.
It has to be comfortable.
Okay, this is Kevin. This is Kevin the Swift, the bane of my life. So this little Swift, my friend found it and didn't know what to do, so brought him to me. The thing with Swifts is they're very, very difficult animals to take care of if you don't know what you're doing, because you have to force feed them. And even the mother has to force feed them. So they're one of the only type of birds which needs to be force fed. It's not very nice, and you have to feed them mealworms when they're alive. So you have to like shove them down, and it's not very pleasant. But actually, Kevin, he developed quite well, but we ended up taking him to Creia Malaga because he wasn't quite ready to fly, and he'd done his fair share. I think he was with us for about probably 2 months, and was a little bit concerned about why he wasn't flying. So we took him to Creia in Malaga, which was a bit of a mission because it's quite away and it's in the mountains of Malaga. And they took him there, and then about 2 weeks later he was released. And hi, Melissa. That's my partner from Rescued Paws. Hello, she's listening in. And yeah, Kevin was released by Creia, and I'm sure he lived a very happy life ever after.
Unfortunately, we're like running out of time already, and you've got so many stories to tell. We go through the photos, and
Okay,
but the most important question I want to ask you: how do you finance all of that? Because obviously the vets don't give you the service for free, also not for wild animals.
Yeah, I mean, it's very difficult to finance. I do a lot of financing things myself. Obviously, I work. I'm a hairdresser by trade. So a lot of the money that I earn, I'm self-employed. A lot of the money does go to the animals, and I'm lucky to have people that like donate to me when they can. But I'm always so grateful for any donations, because when we have emergencies and things like that, when I have to go to the vets in the middle of the night, it's happened so many times. Things happen in the middle of the night, and there's no other choice that you have to go to emergency vets. And as lovely as they are, that's their job, and they have to charge you the normal price. So, you know, sometimes I can go to the emergency vets and I have bills for sometimes 100, sometimes 500. I've had bills for 2,000 euros. I really do struggle with that side, because I really could do with having an emergency fund for when these things happen. And a lot of the time, you know, the bank is empty and I have to do fundraisers, and I feel bad always going on Facebook and putting out fundraisers, but we are a registered charity. We're fully legal. We're allowed to ask for donations. And we're so grateful to anyone that would donate to us to help any animal that we can. And
we have your details here as well. If Bill could show it quickly, we will share it afterwards as well in the link for the donations. You have PayPal, or people can donate via normal bank transfer.
Yeah.
And we will share that again, and also the contact details for Creia, so that people can contact them. And I'm sure Bill has a few questions for you as well. Let's see if he shows up again. There he is.
I am here.
Hello.
And Kay, why do you do it? I mean, that for me is the simple question. Why do you do it?
Why do I do it? I have such a passion for animals since such a young age. They're everything to me. They're a passion. And the thing is, I used to, when I first came here, and I used to see animals on the street, and I used to think, oh dear, who can I call? Someone else, someone needs to do something about that. And then I realized it's me. I am the person that needs to do something. We all need to, like, if we find an animal, instead of constantly thinking, oh, what can we do? Who can we call? Try and at the moment save them the best you can. And then afterwards, think about who you can contact, who you can ask for help. You can always come to me and ask me, who can I contact? I found this animal, I don't know what to do.
But because, sorry to interrupt, sorry to interrupt you, because the problem is that people see animals, they don't pick them up, and then you don't find them anymore. Then you spend the night,
Looking for
sleeping
them.
in your car, driving around, searching for these injured animals.
It's
So
very
the first step
difficult.
is really to secure the animal, to put
Secure
it in
the
a
animal
box,
if you can. Yeah,
put it on a
definitely.
lead, on a rope or whatever, and then not letting it go and hide. And because then it makes it much more difficult for you to catch the animal.
Exactly. I just ask people, please, if you can help an animal instantly, please do it, and contact people and ask for help, rather than let it run around. If there's a dog or anything like that, or a cat that's been run over, a wild animal, please, if you can, you be that person. You, instead of ringing someone else, save the animal first and then worry about the rest after, which is why I end up sleeping in my car and doing all sorts of crazy things. But, you know, we all need to step up and help these animals if we can. So please, everyone, I'm always here to give advice, but try and help them the best you can if you can.
Well said.
We've got another message from Arno. Welcome, Arno. We love you, Kate. and another message from Melissa. She's saying that many times we've gone to search for animals that people post on Facebook.
I mean, Melissa and Arno, you know, they're my partners in the charity. We're always out in the middle of the night doing all sorts of things on these mad rescues, because really we just need people to all do their tiny bit. If you do a little bit, you can save that life. We can take over afterwards, but at the time when it's an emergency, if you can help, if you find a dog, just restrain it and call us, see what we can do, reach out for help, but save the life first if you can.
Sure.
Yeah, and it's not even that people have to search for, if they don't know you, search for your name. It's like nowadays in any Facebook group, you would put it and someone would tag you anyway automatically.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I will always try and help when I can. I mean, I'm one person, but everyone knows, like today I said I'd take some bottle feeding kittens because no one else could take them. Of course, I'm not going to let them die on the street at 2 weeks old, you know, but it would be great if anyone is willing to volunteer or even learn how to bottle feed, how to take care of wildlife. I'm so happy to do a little workshop at some point and teach people that want to know what to do when they find an animal. I'm so happy to do that. So maybe it's something we can arrange in the future.
Even remotely, what you've done with me in lockdown, you taught me how to trap an injured cat and that. So I learned it with my toy from when I was a
training
child.
Videos that I sent you, you know. I'll always try and help everyone when I can, so you can, you know, always learn. If anyone wants to learn, I'm always here.
Great.
Okay, but when we'll put this onto Facebook and we'll put some details on for you. I'm sorry, I don't know, Kreia. So if one of you can send me the contact details, we can put that onto the YouTube publication as well, that you can share. And you know, we'll share your contact details as well, Kate.
Thank you so much for everyone that supports us. I really do appreciate it. And thank you so much for having me and giving me the opportunity to speak out about something different, some wild animals rather than just the domestics.
Yeah.
No, I'm sure we will see you again on here, because half an hour is nothing that we can't get. Well, your life is too interesting, and all the stories, we haven't even seen the funny photos, like in your PJs and everything. So we will have a part 2 with you for sure. You deserve it, and you deserve all the support people can give you, if it's financially or someone that wants to offer himself as a volunteer to learn bottle feeding, to foster, or please get in touch with her. This woman deserves it.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
I'm just not sure that the world is ready for photos of Kay in her pajamas.
Oh dear.
Listen, thank you so much for joining us tonight, Kay. I knew you were going to be good value because you're so enthusiastic about what you do. And from my point of view, I've been listening to it more than doing things, and it's been lovely listening to you and seeing the photos of all the things that you're doing. Thank you so
And the
much.
names of the animals.
Yeah, we need some new names now. I'm running out of original names now for all my animals, so that can be on the next show.
Yeah, well, you better not have two seagulls at the same time, because two of them call Stephen at the same time.
Yeah, that might be a bit confusing. Thank you so much for having me.
You're very welcome.
Thank you for joining us.
Well, thanks everyone for joining us this evening. I know this is going to get a lot of views on Facebook and on YouTube. And you know, Kay, you are one of so many people, and I know a lot of these people, you know, round and about, who just do what they do because they feel it's the right thing. And you know, thank you so much for joining us, and thanks to all of you out there, you know, who look after animals that you find on the street. Yeah, it's probably mostly cats and dogs. But you know, for all of you that just put yourself out a bit to you know, to rescue an animal, and or to try to find the owner of an animal, thank you for all the work that you do.
Yeah,
God,
thank you,
yes. Thank you.
Getting a bit emotional now.
Yeah, me too.
Get the tissues out.
My wife, see, we've got a problem. We have 3 dogs here, and we have 3 cats. And she's always rescuing geckos that I've been chasing. and she's also rescued rabbits that the cats have come up. And
You can always bring them to me, no problem.
Yeah.
But don't tell our partner.
We hide them from him.
Listen, thank you so much to those of you who have joined us, and it's been a delight to have you, Kay.
Thank you.
Daniela, thank
Thank
you for taking us through that and for inviting Kay on. We shall see you next week again, folks. Please take care. When it comes, have a great weekend. And we'll be here next week. I think Anne, all being well, Anne and Anders will be joining us next week to give us an update on Brexit. Take care, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Bye.
And we'll
Bye-bye
speak
now.
soon.